Welcome to the Good Morning from the Chicken Coop podcast with Kim Johnson, your creative strategist and master mindset coach. Filled with inspiration, distinctions, perspectives, and possibilities, we help you to cultivate a mindset that leads you to create the best version of yourself you could ever imagine. Join Kim every morning from one of her favorite happy places, her chicken coop, along with all her chickens.
Hey everybody, good morning from the chicken coop. Today I want to talk to you about your goals. And I'm not talking about, let's set goals. I'm talking about really looking at your goals and understanding there are evolutions that happen to us in this process. And what we thought we wanted may not be what we currently are still wanting. And sometimes we are so stubborn or so blind to the fact that we've had something on our, goal list for a long time and we haven't made it happen, that we just keep it there. And I think probably myself included in this, and every client that I've ever coached, we've had this conversation, and I'll say, well, how long have you wanted that goal? And they might say, as long as I can remember, but I never seem to make it. And this is really an interesting thing when you hear that, because what does it mean when you've had a goal on your list for a really long time that you've just never met? Does it mean that you don't want it? No. I do believe that when we put them down, we want them. Does it mean that we have changed in the process? Yes. If it's still sitting there and it hasn't happened, we evolve as human beings constantly. In the process of evolving, things change. And sometimes what we once wanted, we no longer really want. But rarely do we go back and check in and say, does the person that I am right now still want this? Who came, and this came from the person who I was. And it's hard. It's hard to ask the questions because it's, you have to confront yourself. You have to say, the person that I currently am, is this person really up for this particular goal or this particular outcome, whichever the word is that you like, intention, goal, whatever it is. And actually pausing, putting yourself in a place of thought about this and saying, what's the difference between what my head's telling me about it and my gut's telling me about it? It takes patience with yourself, and it takes honesty. And, we've talked about honesty on here before, where it's like you have got to be radically honest with yourself. Nothing is more dangerous than lying to yourself, and understanding that those little tiny lies erode at your happiness constantly, because ultimately you become incredibly happy when you're incredibly honest with yourself, because you feel free, you feel easier on yourself, you just feel like you can be, and you have this process of being, regularly honest with yourself. You don't feel like you're restricted, and it's incredibly important to remember that. So as somebody who's on here and you're listening to this and, trying to better yourself and your life and the process of it, recognizing that some of your goals may not be the same as they always were, or you might want them at the same as you always had them, is important. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have shifted and said, at one point the person I was really wanted this, and now the person that I am does not want this. It's just I've grown up. It's just not the same thing that I want to do anymore. Or I've changed my intention. I found something that means a little bit more to me. I found something that has a different connection to me. It doesn't mean that I am not setting new goals. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to have something to work towards. It just means that I am constantly aware of the evolution that I go through as a human being. And when you are aware of it, you can recognize that those goals are just in the process of shifting as well. Now, will there be goals that are just part of who you are as a person? Yes. And it is in just a piece of every fiber of your being, and you will stick with those goals. And then there will be those goals that are just, they're in and out. They're the some that change. They're the ones that, they were important, but they really weren't like critical. They were there. They were a want more than anything else. And understanding that about yourself is the height of awareness. When you get into this phase and you can really start to recognize it's okay to take something that's been on a piece of paper and erase it, or say, I'm no longer interested in this. Wow, that's power. It means that you see yourself for all that you are, and you're not shying away from it, and you're not lying to yourself about it. So today, I'll challenge you to go and look at your goals and see, are they still fitting of you, who you are now? Do they need to shift? What's the evolution they need to go through? And allow yourself the gift of changing them, shifting them, doing whatever it is that you need to get them to a different place. So I hope you guys have an incredibly wonderful day, and I will see you all tomorrow.